What's going on, everyone? It's Cody Garbrandt. Just got down with an exclusive Gorilla Wear interview. Make sure to check it out. Where I come from is a really small town. The town is called Yerkesville in Denison. It's a lot of blue collar factory, coal mines. It's a lot of good people and supportive with their people that make it to the next level or supportive in sports and activities throughout junior high, high school. Yeah, we grew up rough. We grew up with the rough crowd. All my friends were tough nosed kids, and we just fought for everything in life. Fought for survival. Me and my brother was always just growing up, scrapping as kids, it was what we did. Was never afraid to fight or to get into a fight. And so it kind of just, was always around. It was just something that was natural to me. I didn't necessarily do well or perform well in school. That's something that wasn't a priority to me. A priority as a kid, with your peers not pushing enough in school or making it as important to get to the next level, like a Division I college, and pursuing more farther advanced wrestling career. So I just focused on wrestling and show up to school when I really wanted to, and that was part on me, part on your peers allowing that. But for me, it was I never had fun in school. I never enjoyed school. I enjoyed going to wrestling practice and training and wrestling and fighting. That's what was my only passion really in life as an early age. And so I would always make it to wrestling practice, but school sometimes I didn't make it. My brother Zach is my right hand man. He's been there since the beginning. We call him my A1 since day one, and we're 10.5 months apart. So we grew up very close. Schooling, sports, wrestling, fighting, going to parties, doing all that. We did everything. He was my sidekick, and he's always there with me for everything I need, and my highest of highs and lowest of lows, and all my family members have been. My family means a lot to me. Is very important. I lean on them through my highest times, my darkest times, and they've always, are there. I live in California, live in Ohio, so they fly across the country to see me all the time, and vice versa. So it's nice to have that support from them. My mother always got us into sports. Growing up as young kids. We played football, wrestling, baseball. But my uncle was a boxer. After his stint in prison, he was incarcerated. He left prison, got out, acquitted of charges, and changed his life around and continued his boxing career. So he'd always take us to the gym and watch him train and be in his kind of lifestyle early on to teach us the ropes of hard work and dedication, and seeing him train in the gym kind of was just led us to wanting to box, wanting to fight. Obviously with wrestling and background experience in that, mixed martial arts was starting to really grow and get really popular, and it's something I fancied as a kid growing up, to be a world champion and to be a cage fighter. I think my biggest motivator, or someone that I was looked up to, would be my big brother Zach. He was just always one of those guys that did whatever you asked for him to do inside of the sporting activity. Was it football or wrestling? He did it. He was tough nosed, and he had a hard work ethic, and he never gave up. He might not have been the most talented athlete on the field or in the mat, but his tenacity to win and to push the pace and break his opponent was very, very motivating to watch. Something that I looked up to growing up was Arturo Gatti. Rest in peace to him. But he was just one of those fighters that left it all inside the ring. He trained hard. He lived a lifestyle of a rock star, and people loved him. For his performances in and outside of the ring. His trilogy with Mickey Ward were just, there's probably no other fights that's ever will come close to those 3 fights with them guys. So Arturo Gatti was someone that I looked up to. I watched all his training videos. I used to watch his fights before I would fight, and just a modern day gladiator. A lot of our tattoos stem from my uncle. He was incarcerated, so he always would send his artwork to my grandparents' house, and they would put it up in the refrigerator or had his binder full of artwork he would send from prison. So, and a lot of my father, my uncles are all tattooed. My grandfather is tattooed all over their arms and necks and wherever. So it's kind of just was normal. Normality for me was to see everyone with tattoos, and I liked art. I used to draw as a kid. It was fascinating to watch it. Some of your ideas come to life on the skin. My first tattoo was when I was 14 years old. We begged our mom to get us a tattoo. We always wanted one. We'd always bring out printouts from school or the library to give her an illustration of an idea what we wanted to be put on our skin. And she was against it, but we kept we made a deal with her if we won state or won a national championship in wrestling that we would go get a tattoo. And when I was 14, we did that, and she kept her into the deal, and we got tattooed, and that was it. My first tattoo was actually on my back, which is now covered up. I'm getting my whole back piece done. But it was a cross with a ribbon tied around it. So it was there since I was 14, and I just recently, in the last 6 months, covered it up, and I got a whole back piece. And I'll always remember it. It was my first tattoo, and it was special. The reason why I covered up now my back was my only large piece that I could have a large piece of artwork on it. So it didn't go with what I wanted, so I had to cover it up to have the whole piece look right.